Yeah, this is Mr. Z and Fifth.
Yeah.
Zaccheus is here. What up?
What's good? What's good? How's everybody doing? Good, man.
All right, season 2, episode 3.
Yeah.
Got to get my numbers right. All right, so Zaccheus, I'm gonna let you start. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think this past week we mourned the passing of Kim Porter, the model, actress model Kim Porter, the ex-wife of hip hop icon P Diddy.
I don't think they were married.
What I would say ex girlfriend, say
baby mother, girlfriend.
But yeah,
and a very long term relationship they had. Yeah.
Was this? We're gonna give me and Fifth. We're gonna give our condolences to her and the fam.
Yes.
And I just been hearing a lot of I've been going on YouTube and hearing a lot of talk about blood sacrifice and things like that. But we're not gonna get into that. Been hearing a lot of sacrifices and dissacrifices. It was it's just a mystery of how it happened, but still we still give our condolences because it's a lost one. And our loving condolences to Kim Porter, so and the family too. Though they said the death was basically
cardiac arrest, they say.
Yeah, cardiac arrest, and she basically
she was dealing with pneumonia.
Was dealing with pneumonia. She came back home. And she just decided to rest, and then when she got up, she wasn't able to get up. She wasn't able to get up at all. She wasn't able to get up, and then she tried to wake her. You couldn't wake her, but it's just condolences to Kim Porter, So
yeah. So she has 3 children with Diddy.
Yeah,
and one with Albie Shore. Diddy has a total of about 5 children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the 3 that he has with Kim, Justin, his firstborn, and his youngest daughter that was after Kim. So they were broken up for a while, but but they're known for being together off and on. I won't go into that detail, but
would you call her death a mystery, or it's just
the only reason why people are calling her death a mystery because she's only 47 years old. See, when we think of death, we think of old age. When we think of murder, we think of young age, because that means you were executed. There's a difference between dying of natural causes and then being killed. So, I think that's the only reason why people look at this as sudden, because we haven't been hearing about Kim in years, and then all of a sudden, the news that we get is that she's gone. I mean, so that's why that's sudden. When you don't hear about somebody, and then when you hear about them, you're like, well, dang. And then when they bring up the age, you're like, wait a minute, that's young.
Yes.
47 is young. We've had a lot of young deaths. I mean, Prodigy being one of them. That was a young one.
It was a young death. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that was
Prodigy. When Heavy D, there's a lot of people who died young, like who just died young.
He died at 44. Heavy D, rest in peace. Yeah. He died at 44. Prodigy died young too.
Yep.
About 42, 43, 42. He died young too. So it's a lot of young deaths that is just. It's just some of them. I guess I could call it mystical too, because you don't know we don't know the depth of the truth of what really would happen. We just hear about what the media portrays and what the media say. But
age has a lot to do with this, because we react differently when Stan Lee dies, because Stan Lee was he lived a long life. So we don't say that his death was a mystery because we look at his age number and we go, oh, okay, well, it makes sense that he would pass at this age because he was so old. So his longevity just ran out. But then when you hear about people dying young, we respond differently because we don't see 47 as a natural age of death. We don't see that.
We don't see that. No, we don't see that. No. It's just still a young woman, man. We don't see that because you see, when we think about death and passing, the first thing that comes to my mind is the person was old. So
I'm concerned about right. Have you heard about? I'd hate to talk about this, but send your prayers to Tina Turner. You've heard about Tina, right?
No, I haven't heard anything about Tina Turner. No.
So supposedly, what's going on is that Tina is having complications. Tina is having complications of her kidneys.
Boy.
Because she's been dealing with a stomach cancer.
What?
Yeah, which I didn't even know. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What? Tina Turner?
Yeah, Tina Turner.
I didn't know that. Well, we say our Tina Turner. Man, she's a legend. Always go to Tina Turner, the legend, man. I can't believe it.
Well, she underwent a life.
No.
She underwent a kidney transplant, and they said that she was having complications with the with her body taking the kidney. You know, let me get an update on that because I need to know what's going on now. But they tried to say, okay, so her now husband donated the organ for her kidney transplant. Just trying to see how she's doing today. I don't know about the stomach cancer thing, but that's what they've been talking about. Yeah, but well, just send her your prayers because we don't want nothing happening to Tina, man. I ain't ready. Tina's 78. Tina's 78. She says she had a kidney disease. Okay, so y'all forgive me with that stomach cancer thing. I don't know why they saying stomach cancer, but a different source said stomach cancer, but this is just saying kidney disease. So
kidney disease, yeah.
So y'all send y'all prayers to her, man, because we don't want nothing happening to her, man.
Yeah.
Can't have that.
Yeah, man.
Once again, our condolences to Kim Porter's family. Let's get into something. So we're gonna get into here's what we're gonna do. Our plan for this episode was to talk about the brother who was a security guard who basically saved everybody from getting shot.
Yes.
Okay. In a bar in the Chicago area. You know what I'm saying? 26-year-old Jemel Roberson. 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 Hope I'm saying his name right. So, we'll get to him, but before we do, Zaccheus, you want to talk about the conditions of specifically in the Bronx, well, specifically in New York City, government public-owned housing.
Yes. So that's run by NYCHA. Yeah.
Right. Well, NYCHA stands for New York City Public Housing Authority, or administration, or whatever the heck you call that. So, talk about that specifically, and then I'll get into the whole situation of public housing, the conditions of public housing nationwide. So, talk about what's going on in New York.
Right now, young people that's tenants are coming home to cold apartments. Right now in New York City, it's about 33. Sometimes it goes up to about between 33 and 40 degrees. and sometimes even just straight 30 degrees. So, and it's gonna get colder because right now we're in these months where it gets colder. Right now we're in November, going into December, and it's gonna get real cold in New York. So the thing is to get real cold. So imagine people, just audience, just hearing us. Imagine going into a when you come home from work or school, you're walking into a cold apartment. You're walking into a cold apartment. The water is cold. You can't you bathe. You can not take a shower. You know, it's just the conditions that you're living in is maybe rat infested, and you're also walking into a condition where it's cold. You're frigid. You got to wear a coat, and the way you live, you got to wear a coat. You got to wear a hat and coat and gloves, and you have small children. Feel for those who have small children, small kids, like young kids. They're walking into a freezing cold apartment, and this has been going on for months. The condition, and there's have some activists that's really paying attention to this, and big up to Ja Rule, because he's been very vocal about it. He's been speaking on this and saying it's a situation that needs to be dealt with, and a situation that needs to be handled because it's getting out of hand. Kids are exposed to lead poisoning, asbestos, and the Bronx has a problem with some of the public housing areas have a problem with rats. Rats, I've heard of rats. I've been looking at the news carefully on this matter, and I've been hearing rats biting a kid in the bed. You know, the little kid laying, a 5-year-old laying in the bed, and the rat jumped on the bed and bit the kid. Now there's blood all over the bed, and the mother beating the rat off the child beating the rat right off the child from the child getting even more bit. So the mother stomped the rat out from the rat. So this is a real serious situation, you know, and I've been in the Bronx a few times, and I've seen some of the conditions, and I've seen even in some, not even just the Bronx, but some housing project area. You know, I used to live in the housing projects when I first come.
Same here.
Yeah, when I first come to New York, and is that we living in these conditions, and you know, but just picture yourself walking in from a hard day's work, getting up in the morning and feeling cold. You're feeling cold. Yeah, it's cold. The skin is icy cold, and then you got to leave and go to school or work, and then coming back to the same feeling that you have outside. It's cold outside. You got to walk into the same coldness when you come into the house come into the apartment. So it's a situation that's been going on. It's in a situation that needs to be addressed, and it's a serious situation because I remember one time experiencing that only once. And I was a little older than a child at the time when I experienced that, and I can imagine. But the mothers and the families walking in there with the children, and feeling that coldness on their you're cold, and you're getting pneumonia like that. It's no joke. So
okay, but let's talk about and I wanted you to get to this because okay, so you're talking about the conditions, but also talk about the money that was denied to fix these conditions, because then I'm gonna get into that on a national scale. So we have the problem, but then we have situations where there was money that was supposed to be requested years ago for the conditions of public housing nationwide. And then let's talk about the fact that a lot of money just got denied. So the money is ready, but then they refuse to take it.
Let's address that because
right.
The thing is this. Because
that real quick, I just want to let people know that money was for repairs and stuff like the elevator, pipes, fixtures, anything that is needed for a community apartment building community to function. And you know, let's talk about, you know, I'm just saying that's the kind of stuff that is needed but has been denied in certain cities. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
When you see when it don't touch your skin, and you're living comfortable, you tend to, some, I'm not saying all politicians, but I think some tend to push it aside and years go by and just ignore it, and just you see people living in certain conditions, but you do what's most important. You're living comfortable, and you lavish your home, and you make sure that you're comfortable, and you make sure that you're living fat in the car when you're comfortable. But what about the man that's struggling, the middle class man that's struggling, the poor man that's gotta, fend for his family, and you're leaving them in the cold? The money I'm not surprised that the money was denied. It's a situation that they look over. See, when the middle class and the struggling and the poor, they kind of like, if it's not important, if it has no benefit to them, they don't address it. Beneficial, they don't address it. So, and it's just sad because when you look at but they have the money, but they see what we do is we make matters get worse. So yes, we do have to be vocal about it. We do have to make noise. Where's the money? Where is the money? That's the question.
Okay. Now, let me go from a more broader stance. Cities like Chicago and other places going around, and even in New York, Baltimore, and other places, we've had certain public housing units be tore down. So there's money to tear them down. Now, when they tear them down, in its place, they try to put up mid-rise or high-rise condos. Those condos are just too expensive for the ones that lived there when the projects was there. So they can't really afford to necessarily live there. And some of these places where they haven't been able to afford, where there haven't been enough people been able to buy in and to afford these places that they rebuilt of, some of these places have accepted Section 8 because you still have to get money for this property that you built. So here's the situation with this. The reason why I believe the money is being denied is because the plans are already set in motion for displacement by shutting down the projects anyway. Okay? So that's my theory, and that's been my theory for over 20 years. And I'm only 31. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, so not 20 years, but 15 years. That's been something that, when we talk about gentrification, has been going on before I was born, really, but has just been put more to the forefront when I was a teenager. So, this is just something that is just going on, and the projects was never meant to be a long-term place anyway. And it's not supposed to be for the middle class. It's supposed to be for the single mom first, really.
Yeah.
Because a father couldn't live in the projects with his family back when that program was started. They had that movie Claudine.
Oh, speak it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that movie Claudine, they went up in that home and she had on them kids. They went up in their home, and they had to hide them. And if they even saw a grown man's clothes, shoes, they would be denied them resources, man. So we're talking about these programs that were implemented and put in place to really push the man, specifically the black man, out of his home. Hey, if you they tell the mothers, they tell our sisters, hey, if you just have the kids, if you just keep having kids, and we'll give you food stamps and welfare and a place to live, you ain't got to worry about that. At first, the projects was safe. At first, they was. I don't think a lot of people even get what I'm saying. It wasn't the hood. It was not the hood. When public housing first started, it was not the hood at first. Became that later because there were certain things in place that they felt that was discriminated against certain people being in there. And then now everybody's in there.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and really, it was supposed to be a temporary place to live there for a minimum amount of time, and to move on into excel and move financially into a place where that you can afford. That's not public housing. That's what the other story of the projects was only supposed to be. The problem is that it became long term because everything else around it became expensive. I was talking to, I ain't gonna say the name, but somebody the other day, you know what I'm saying? She live in the projects, you know what I mean? And then she, in New York, Staten Island to be exact. And she told me, she was like, yo, I would move out, but if I move out, I gotta leave New York because I can't afford to rent anywhere else. Okay? So you have that going on.
And
you have elevators.
It's expensive.
Right. You have elevators, the power, the water in these buildings that are not working properly, not functioning properly. I mean, look at it this way. If anybody remembers the story of Akai Gurley, that building had no lights in the hallways and the staircases and all that. And then the cops shot him.
Oh, yes.
That was in the projects. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was in what? That was in Brooklyn?
It was in Brooklyn.
New York. Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, I remember that story.
Yeah. So, the projects was never meant to be. If you ask me, I'm not for displacement and kicking people out of their homes, but there needs to be programs. The programs that you got to get them there. Okay, so now you felt like, well, since we got you there, we not going to help you get out. But you help them get in. But you're not going to help them get out. Because when they tear down the projects, most of the time these people move into another one. They don't move into a house, upper echelon type of apartment. They move into another public housing community. So the problem is not being solved and fixed. And then let me go to what you said about in the Bronx. I saw a video, disgusting. I think it was Channel 11 New York News. See, I'm not in New York right now, but I know because I was just there last year. They showed a thing. I saw it on Facebook. They showed a video of this woman's apartment. Oh, my Lord. This was in, I don't know what projects this was. I really don't know. It might have been, I don't know what it was, but it was somewhere in the South Bronx. They didn't even walk in the kitchen. They walked partly in the kitchen. No, they walked in the hallway part to the kitchen. You saw a family of rats. They were running on the stove. When they panned the camera to the sink, they was in the sink. They was when they saw people coming or whatever noise they made, you could see the rats run behind the refrigerator, part where the refrigerator's at. Let me say this though. In that video, that kitchen looked nasty. It really did. So
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that thing don't look good, man.
Yo, that was disgusting. Ooh, so yeah. I mean, nationwide, there has been resources to fix public housing that have been denied nationwide. So I'm not surprised that in New York City that happened, and it happened. It's been going on for years, man. It's been going on for years. The conditions are poor. The conditions are bad.
It's like what you said.
They're not even healthy. Mold.
Plans.
Other than no heat, there's mold in the walls. Lead paint and all this other stuff. Lead and kids with. You wonder why in public housing these kids are having asthma. It's like an asthma epidemic, a health problem epidemic in these places because These have been the conditions of the projects for so long.
Yes.
Other than just the crime is taking place because of no employment in these neighborhoods where the projects are. No jobs. So cats is robbing and stealing. So it's not, somebody's grandmother lived there, man. Come on. Child. I don't like that, man. I don't like that. And let me say something to my black fathers out there. Get your family out the projects, man. Get them out of there, man. Get them out of there. It ain't cool. Let me address this too. It ain't cool. Ain't nothing cool about struggling. That ain't something you brag about and boast about and hold to a high standard.
Hello.
If you did come from the struggle, then you appreciate it for what it is, and you be are thankful from where you used to be to where you're going to be now. And you appreciate humble beginnings, but you don't sit in it and think that it's cool to struggle. Ain't nothing cool about that. Ain't nothing fashionable about that. That's ignorant, man.
It's like what MC Rakim said. It's not where you're from, it's where you're at.
Thank you. So, but it's a problem in the black community that we tend to glorify
in the projects.
We glorify our lack of wealth. No, you don't glorify your lack of wealth. I was a kid in the projects up until I was 11 years old. If I can get my years right. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing right about that. Okay, hold on. Let me say that differently. What I mean is, ain't nothing cool and to glorify and put on a pedestal about that. So that was a humble beginning I came from, and I thank the Lord every day, because where I am today is far away from that. So the projects was never meant for middle class families. If you're middle class and you're living in a project, something's wrong with that. Matter of fact, the projects are income restricted anyway. But at this point, at this point, cities like New York and LA and Oakland and San Francisco, Chicago, at this point, you got to raise the actual income restriction just so these people can have a roof over their head. Ain't that something?
That's something.
It's that bad. It's that bad where the cost of living is so high that the restriction that you had it on, you got to raise it a bit. It got to be a little higher because of the way things are. And most of the time, if you paying rent for the projects, you're not paying $1,000. You're paying from, what is it now? I'm hearing some people paying between $300 to $500, maybe $800 a month in the projects, depending on what they make.
It goes by your income.
It goes by your income. It goes by your income. And then if you make too much money, you can't live in the projects anymore. But then you don't make enough money to live anywhere else in that city. How about that? That's a crisis.
The cost of living. See, you're battling a few things: the cost of living condition, and it's a few things you're battling, and
just overall neglect.
Neglect, yeah. So staying in the project for 20, 30 years is not the move, man. You're supposed to elevate and just work your way out. Work your way out.
Like I said.
Oh, it's not work your way out, man.
And I want to say something to my sisters out there. I want you to listen to me very closely, my sisters. Y'all my queens. What the heck are you doing letting a man come in your home and he don't help or elevate and change your condition? And you in the projects. What the heck is he there for?
Jay, I'm gonna be honest with you. If they ain't doing nothing to elevate her and to help her out, all they doing is just laying the pipe, then
and a roof. Yes, and that's the point I'm getting to. You speak on that, Zaccheus.
A lot of women, a lot of our young sisters out there, the singles, I'm talking about the single sisters out there with the kids. Tough job being a single mother raising your kids, man. It's a tough job and it's a tough job. But when you get a mate is supposed to be somebody that helps. You. Not dwell in this condition that you're staying in. And he's all right. All he's doing is just, laying that pipe and making, and finessing you, but he's not doing anything to elevate you to get out.
Yeah.
You see, and we gotta refresh our minds, renew our minds, my young sisters out there. We have to, because when you allow kids or your child to see men popping in and out your place, until think for that child, because as your child get older, they'll see that mommy have different faces coming in and out. A child remembers these things. So you're supposed to set the example for your child, and you're supposed to respect, let your child see that you're stable, because you don't look stable when you have different faces popping in and out your place. And next thing you know, mommy pregnant, but he ain't committing to you, he ain't marrying you. I know that off the topic, but this is where it's at, and we can address this for maybe about five minutes or 2 minutes or so. My young sisters out there, we gotta think about this, and we gotta mentally think about it. If he's not adding to you, then what is he doing? What is he doing with you? That's my thing.
Exactly. I just wanted to, that's a bit off topic, but because we're talking about the projects, I just wanted to talk about how there's that internal cycle in the projects that we see all the time, and I don't like that. And I just don't want our women, not all women do this, they don't. No. But I'm saying for some of y'all sisters, I got this man in there. You're with him year 1. Year 5, y'all still in the projects. Why? You got to get him out of there, man. That's your responsibility as a black man. Lead. Do the best you can. Get them out of there. Even if you got to leave the city. I mean, it ain't that serious.
About your kids, man.
Just relocate. Jesus Christ.
Some people are, Jay, some people are connected to the city. They don't feel that. They feel that's their world and that's it. Hey, they don't know how to.
We live in a big world, man. We live in a big world.
Yeah, they don't feel that they need to. What I mean by transition, meaning that they feel that this is it.
Okay, well
this is where it's at.
Then guess what? Ladies, Jesus, his feet. Sorry, y'all. Ladies, all over the globe, listen to my voice. If you're with a man with no ambition, you lost. You lost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because a man with ambition, goals, the ability to adapt, will never be a man that will keep you in that condition. A man who has those things somehow, some way is going to help and get out the situation for him and for y'all. Because if that man wants better, then guess what? He's going to bring y'all with them. He should. And if he don't, ladies, you're finished out here in these streets. All right. We got to move on. Anything else you want to speak on before you move on to the situation that happened in Chicago?
I'm talking about the housing projects in Chicago.
No, not the housing projects, but I'm talking about the brother who tried to save the day and they murdered him.
Oh,
I just want to know if you had anything to say about this, about public housing before we move on to the next topic, because I'm not gonna come back to it because we gotta talk about this. This is something that's very serious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What I gotta say about public housing is that in a rough condition, but now this is a rough condition. Not having hot water, not being able to have heat in the apartment. Well, I just pray and hope that this out. Even if the city gives money to NYCHA, and all of a sudden now you have heat and you have hot water, still effort, do the best you can to take your family out of there. Enough said.
Exactly. Oh Lord, here we go again. So, first, my condolences goes out to the family of Jemel Roberson. We just had a shooting in LA at a bar last week, right? We just had that.
Yeah.
The gunman killed whoever he killed, and then the gunman is dead. So then we have a shooting in Chicago, an armed security guard. He happens to apprehend the shooter. The cops show up and they kill the armed security guard?
Wait.
Huh?
I scratched my head to that.
Let me go deep into that. So, police responded to a shooting around 4 a.m. at Manny's Blue Room Lounge in Robbins, about 20 miles south of Chicago. Cook County's Sheriff Office spokeswoman Sophia Aznari said 3 people and an alleged shooter were injured, she added. Then after Roberson had apprehended the alleged gunman, the Midlothian officer shot Roberson outside the bar. According to a federal lawsuit filed Monday, the suit calls the fatal shooting excessive and unreasonable and says it violated Roberson's civil rights. Witnesses said security asked several drunk men to leave the bar. At least one person returned and opened fire. This is according to CNN's affiliate WGN reported. A bartender was among those victims, according to the lawsuit. After the shooting, Roberson had somebody on the ground with his knee in his back, with his gun in his back, like, don't move. This is quotations. Adam Harris, a witness, told WGN. The officer responded to the scene, then fired at Roberson. The TV station reported, citing witness. We yelled, in quotations, we all yelled, he's security. And without giving any thought, they shot him, Harris told the station. The vest said security on the vest. And they shot him anyway. They shot him apparently in the side of his body. Unarmed officer who the unnamed officer who fatally shot Roberson has been a member of the Midlothian Department for nearly 4 years, according to Delaney. The officer is assigned to the patrol division and also leads a regional SWAT team, the police chief said. He also spent 3 years with another department, according to Delaney. The officer is on paid administrative leave, as is standard department policy, pending the outcome an investigation by the Illinois State Police Public Integrity Task Force investigation. I'm going to stop right there. It's pissing me off. I also want to add that Roberson died later on. He didn't die at the bar, but he died in the hospital. 26 years old. He wanted to be a cop. He was a father of a 9-month-old son. And they're, oh, Jesus. I ain't even noticed. He's expecting another child, my man.
Ow. Ow.
Wow, his mother said, I have to read this. I didn't even want to read this, but I'm gonna. My baby's not going to have his father for Christmas, his birthday, any holidays anymore. Avantia Booth, mother to Roberson's children, told Don Lemon on CNN tonight, Wednesday. So this article is not from today. This article is from November 15th. I can't even read no more because I'm getting pissed off. But y'all get the gist.
Yeah.
Zaccheus, we're in a nation where a black man can't even be a hero, man. You get shot for not doing nothing. You get shot for not doing nothing. You get shot for helping. So you get shot for not helping and shot for helping. I mean, what do we do, man? Shot.
Walk with Skittles.
Yeah, you don't even have to do anything.
And they're wearing a hoodie. So,
Zaccheus, the brother had on the uniform. That didn't help. Zaccheus, what did I say in the last episode? I said you got brothers and sisters that are part of the military.
Uniforms to protect them. We used to wear uniforms to protect us.
Thank you.
Now, this brother across his chest, and he still gets killed. But by an officer, by another officer, an armed officer.
They shot the wrong guy without giving it any thought. They released a shot without giving it any thought.
Snipers, you got people that's killing in mass. They still live. They still breathe their breath. A black man.
What was this?
Striving to be a hero.
Think about it.
In uniform. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. In uniform. Striving to help someone else. Killed attempting to help.
First, I want to say God bless this. Oh God, I can't even say God bless him because he's dead. But I want to say God bless his family. This man is a hero, man. I can only imagine how many more people would have been killed or injured if he didn't step in. This is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. You can't even be a hero. You can't. If you look like me or look like my brother, Zaccheus, I mean, this is crazy. Zaccheus, I want you to speak more to this, man. Just give me your overall opinion about this story and other stories that are similar to this. Because we're having, as we're talking right now, there was a shooting in Chicago at a hospital. In a hospital. I mean, what's going on? You know, these mass shootings are happening. This brother stopped a mass shooting. And now he's dead.
You see, what they done, and we talk about, I heard brothers talk about, and like I said it off air to you before, like they heard brothers talk about, we had a black president, and I still say we still haven't overcome. By that and say we still haven't overcome because when you're a black man, you're trying to walk and you're trying to live, you're just walking on the block, going to school. Or you're just or you just walking outside of your apartment, and the cops come raiding you, come pointing their guns at you, and you decide to, and all you had was a wallet in your hand. The flash in front of the cops, and they killed you. We as black men are targets. Open targets. No, you can't even look, and as you can see, there's no way around it. It's there.
Catch-22, right?
We're getting slaughtered. Even for being a hero.
For saving the day, my brother.
Imagine that.
For saving the day.
And then some of us ignore, but some people even ignore when we're trying to. They got some people that pull their phones out to just watch or they throw it on social media, the viewing. But when the brother extend his hand to help someone, so it makes me kind of wonder if me and Fifth we lend a hand to help out, are we gonna get killed?
I can't even. You know what? For the sake of our jobs, I'm not going to say what we do, but let's just say this. Me and you, okay, have what we wear a uniform, okay? Me and you wear a uniform when we work. We don't have the same job. I want to throw that out there to people because I don't want them to think that we don't necessarily have the same job, but we both have similar responsibilities that are identical. Our jobs are identical in that way. And me and you, although we're not armed, but we're in a position where we could, if we wanted to, be the hero by risking our lives. So you gonna shoot me, officer? You know what I'm saying? Because this man was wearing the uniform of an armed security guard that bar hired him to be. It's not like he was just walking around. He was assigned to his position, to his job, and he was doing his job.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, what would they have said about him if he didn't do his job? They would have called him a coward. They would have said that he needed to be fired. They needed to take his job. This man got killed for doing his job. He ain't even killed the gunman. You know, he could have just did that. He's a licensed security guard, an armed licensed security guard. He actually has a right to fire. And that he has a right to fire his weapon in that situation. That's part of his job description. He didn't even do that. He didn't even want to take the man's life. The man was taking lives. He didn't even want to take the man's life. He just wanted to take him down. But the police come and take the life of the hero? The bad guy lives? But you shoot the hero?
Yeah, make that make sense. What our Sharpton shouts out, no justice, no peace. Why? And I can see why he says it all the time, because
things happen
in a smart sense.
Yeah.
Our lives really don't matter. When I hear situations like this,
yeah,
we as black people gotta teach our kids by themselves and be careful of what you do and how you move. The odds are against us in every step of the way. Odds are totally against us, because when you an armed officer, not even undercover. They got some undercover brothers that in the past got shot and killed, but this brother was in his uniform.
Yeah, he was identified as security.
And
you got witnesses yelling to the cops.
Multiple witnesses
Yelling.
guy, and he still
shoot him.
Get his life snuffed out. Our lives is worth less than the animals that walk on four legs.
Sure.
I had to say, but it's true. You got a gun down a 12-year-old.
Oh God.
Tamir
Rice.
And you gotta choke somebody out.
Edward Gardner.
Yeah. For just a Lucy, something as simple as Lucy that everybody gets. Everybody gets a Lucy. A lot of people that smoke, they just get Lucy's.
Yeah,
and they hang and not just black people hang on in front of the stores. They got some non-black folks that hang on in front of the store with a Lucy, just shooting the breeze.
Cigarettes, for people who don't know the term Lucy. Lucy is a term that's more so recognized in New York, but for people who are not from New York, he's talking about Lucy is a slang word for loose cigarette.
Loose cigarette. That's what you. Yeah, so that's what we call Lucy's. Those who don't know.
I want to talk about something real quick about saving a situation, maybe different from theirs, but still getting shot. A couple years ago, there was a brother in Florida. He was a instructor or a teacher at a school for kids who are mentally challenged, and this was down in Florida. One of the kids got reported on for having a weapon. Now, he didn't have a weapon, but he had something in his hands, and he was aiming it like it was a gun. Now, this kid is mentally challenged. The police show up. The brother, knowing the child, goes to the situation and says, listen, put it down. They're going to shoot you. They don't know what you have. And they're yelling, put the gun down. There's no gun. But he's just yelling, put it down. He's mentally challenged, so he's not going to respond like a functioning person per se, a normal functionally person who's not mentally challenged. The brother's out there. He's surrendering because he's in the line of fire, and he's just trying to help. He's like a counselor or something like that, so he's just trying to help the child. Big child too, but he's trying to help him. He's not a kid, but he's not grown. The cops fire at him twice. They shoot the brother in the leg. His arms, he was laying on his back with his hands in the air, right next to the kid who's got the thing in his hand. And they shot twice, Zaccheus. Twice. If I shoot at you twice, I'm trying to... Okay, if I shoot at you once, I'm definitely trying to harm you or kill you. But if I shoot at you twice, that means I ain't get you with the first one, so I'm definitely trying to get you with the second one. They tried to murder that man.
Yes, they did, yeah.
Now I'm glad that brother is here to tell a story about what happened, but there was no justice for that act. So with that being said, I don't know if there will be justice for this one. I brought it up as an example. No, he wasn't trying to save people from getting shot from a mass shooter. But what he was trying to do is save a kid from getting shot. He got shot anyway. So what I'm saying is, the man tried to be a hero, tried to save a life of a mass shooting. Another brother tried to save a life from cops executing somebody. Catch-22, man. Catch-22. You just pray you don't get caught up in this situation at all, because, you never know what somebody's going to do. And as, the plight of Black America is, when we're in trouble, who do we call? Because a lot of times, we don't even want to call police, because we don't know who's coming. We don't know if we getting a law-abiding cop or a non-law-abiding or an outlaw-abiding cop.
Right.
Are we getting an officer? Are we getting an officer of the law, or are we getting an outlaw officer?
Most of the time, this is why a lot of us don't call the cops.
Exactly.
Because our lives are at stake. Our lives are at stake. So this is why people want to be wondering, like, oh, why don't you call the cops? You're telling a black man or a black woman, why don't you call the cops? You know why we don't call the cops? Because life or death with us. Sees us and pull out his gun. I don't know how many people seen the movie called there's a movie that recently came out, and that movie had a lot of scenes in that movie with the young sister with the hoodie on. Sometimes you see the advertisement for it.
Are you talking about that movie, The Hate U Give?
The Hate U Give, right? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And
got shot over a hairbrush.
Yeah, he got shot over a hairbrush. That, if you look at that film carefully, this is what we deal with all the time.
Yeah.
Young brother reaching for a hairbrush gets killed. You know, it's like movie it's fictional, but it just shows you what really goes on. What happens, really what goes on. The actor, I forgot the name of the actor, that tells his kids in the beginning, when a cop pull you over, keep your hands on the dashboard, don't make a move. So in real life, we gotta tell our kids this. We gotta train our kids to be vigilant and to be very easy with officers. Situations like this. Oh, going back to the brother that got killed wearing a uniform. It's like it wasn't really this news was not really. I listen to the news a lot, and I haven't heard certain news stations tell this news at all. I haven't heard few of them. I haven't heard, but I think it was CNN that was the only one. I believe CNN. I believe was the only. Other news stations, I never heard anything. I didn't even hear this on the radio. I listen to radio, quite a bit when I'm driving, but I didn't even hear this on the radio. So
yeah,
it goes to tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, it's still going on. Just because you don't hear about it. Still going on. The slaughter of young black men and women is still, for the police brutality, is still going on.
Yeah.
And not hear about it right away, but it's still going on. They have huge cases on it, but few cases like, you heard about the Sandra Bland, you heard about
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown and Trayvon Martin and so forth and so forth, Patrick Dorsman and in the past, Anthony Lama that lived to tell the story, but it's because the saga still continues. Oh, it just goes to say that when we have our children, we gotta teach them differently, and we gotta be vigilant, and we gotta be careful too. It's just an ongoing saga. It never stopped.
Yeah. Sure do. All right. I just want to say, closing out the program, rest in peace, Kim Porter.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Jemel Roberson. And my condolences to their families. We're going to get up out of here. Zaccheus, any last word? You have the last word. Anything you want to say before we close out?
Oh, yeah. Just want to a quick condolences to the ones who lost their lives this week, and to the armed black man that lost his life. So to their families, and also to telling the young black folks to be vigilant out there, and to also, if you're living in a housing project facility, always have a goal to leave.
Yes.
So that's all I gotta say for right now.
Much
So,
more
yeah.
than life than projects. Strive
Yes.
for better, aim for better, and be better when you know better. Do better when
Oh
you know
yes.
better. All right, Zaccheus, where can they reach you?
You can reach me on Twitter, and Wayne. Also, you can reach me at Instagram, Zaccheus B73 on Instagram. Also, you can reach me on Facebook, Wayne Zaccheus Bacchus on Facebook. Hit me up, y'all.
All right, catch me, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the Fifth General. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the Fifth General. All right, so this was another episode of Mrs. Z and Fifth, Season 2, Episode 3. We're going to get up out of here. We'll see y'all next time, all right? Peace.